The Galactic Military Academy's training grounds had never been quieter. Every cadet stood frozen, watching the impossible scene unfold before them. Ben sat cross-legged on the observation deck floor, his uniform jacket discarded beside him. Curled up in his lap was Claw, a Vraxian predator cub whose species had terrorized a dozen star systems before joining the Galactic Federation. The cub's metallic scales caught the artificial sunlight, and his 6 eyes were half closed in contentment as Ben scratched behind his auditory ridges. 2 more Vraxian cubs lounged against Ben's sides, their razor-sharp tails wrapped loosely around his arms. A 4th cub had draped itself across his shoulders like a lethal scarf, purring with a sound that resembled grinding metal. "This is illogical," whispered Cavix, a Thornian cadet whose species prided itself on analytical thinking. His crystalline eyes flickered with confusion. "Those cubs attacked me yesterday. I required medical attention for 3 days." Beside him, Yara, a Quilaxian whose people had evolved from prey animals, trembled as she watched. "They cornered me in the mess hall last week. I thought I was going to die." The Vraxian cubs had arrived at the academy 6 weeks ago as part of a controversial integration program. Their homeworld had recently joined the Federation, and the Council believed early socialization would help bridge the gap between their warrior culture and the peaceful coexistence required of member species. It had been a disaster. The cubs challenged everyone. They attacked training drones, shredded equipment, and treated every cadet like either a rival or prey. The academy's staff had tried everything: behavioral specialists, pheromone suppressants, even hiring a Vraxian adult to manage them. Nothing worked. The cubs respected no one, feared nothing, and turned the academy into their personal hunting ground. Then Ben arrived. He was a human, from Earth, a planet that had only recently made first contact. The Galactic Federation had accepted humanity tentatively, curious about these strange bipeds who had somehow survived, on a death world classified as extreme. Hazard, do not colonize. Earth had more predators, per square kilometer, than most planets had in their entire biospheres. Its weather could kill in minutes, its diseases were nightmarish, and its dominant species had clawed their way to the top of the food chain through sheer stubbornness. Ben's first encounter with the cubs happened in the cafeteria. Claw had been terrorizing a group of Andorian cadets, his hunting instincts making him circle them like they were wounded prey. The Andorians had pressed themselves against the wall, their blue skin pale with fear. Ben had simply walked up, placed his hand on Claw's head, and pushed down firmly. "Sit." Everyone expected the human to lose his hand. Vraxian cubs had jaws that could crush durasteel. Instead, Claw had sat. His eyes had locked onto Ben's face, and something in that gaze recognized something in the human. After a moment, the cub had tilted his head and made a curious chirping sound. "Good boy," Ben had said, scratching behind Claw's auditory ridges. The cub had melted. The other cadets thought it was a fluke. Then it happened again. And again. Within a week, the cubs who had terrorized the entire academy followed Ben like imprinted ducklings. They waited outside his quarters. They shadowed him during training. They defended him from anyone they perceived as a threat, which was initially everyone. "I don't understand," Instructor Xiphon said, watching from the observation deck's upper level. The elderly Corvidian had trained warriors for 3 decades and had never seen anything like this. "Humans aren't particularly strong. They lack natural armor, claws, or venom. By all accounts, they should be prey." "But they're not," said Dr. Thex, the Academy's xenobiologist. Her tentacles twitched with excitement as she recorded data on her tablet. "Look at his body language. He's completely relaxed. No fear pheromones, no stress hormones. The cubs can sense it. But why do they respect him?" Xiphon asked. "Because his species earned respect," Thex replied. Earth was a proving ground. Humans didn't just survive, they dominated. They faced predators that made Vraxians look gentle and came out on top. They domesticated wolves, creatures that hunted in packs and could kill them easily. They turned predators into pets through patience and persistence. On the training ground below, Ben was now playing with Claw, rolling a training ball across the floor. The cub pounced on it with the enthusiasm of a kitten, despite being large enough to tackle a fully grown Andorian. The other cubs joined in, their earlier aggression transformed into playful energy. "Humans also have something else," Thex continued. "Persistence, endurance. Their ancestors hunted by simply following prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. They didn't give up, ever. The cubs sensed that too. That immovable calm that says, "I've seen worse than you, and I'm not impressed." Kavix approached the scene cautiously, watching as Ben laughed while the cubs tumbled over each other. "Cadet Ben," he called out nervously. "How do you do it? How do you make them listen?" Ben looked up, claw now gnawing gently on his forearm. The human smiled. "It's not complicated. They're just kids. Scared kids in a strange place acting out because they don't know how else to communicate. My planet had plenty of animals like that. You just need patience, consistency, and to show them you're not afraid." "But they're predators," Yara whispered. "So am I," Ben said simply. "So are you. So is everything that survived long enough to build a civilization. The difference is humans learn to work with other predators instead of against them. We figured out that the scariest thing in the room can also be your best friend if you treat it right." Claw yawned, displaying rows of diamond-hard teeth, then nuzzled against Ben's chest and closed his eyes. The human resumed scratching behind the cub's ridges, and within moments all 4 cubs were sleeping peacefully around him. The cadet stared in wonder. The cubs who had terrorized them for weeks looked almost harmless now, curled up like oversized house cats. Above them, Instructor Xiphon made a note on his personal tablet. "Recommend humans for all future interspecies integration programs. Their ability to befriend predators may be humanity's greatest weapon." Ben didn't hear the comment. He was too busy enjoying the moment, surrounded by purring cubs on a space station thousands of light years from Earth, doing what his species had always done best, turning monsters into friends, one scratch behind the ears at a time, the human way.